Hey, good day to everybody. Welcome to another episode of Andrew's Journey. This video is going to be one of a few videos that I'm going to make addressing the issue of homelessness. Now, in this video, I'm going to discuss the how people tend to be judgmental towards the homeless population and some of the beliefs that people have about the homeless population. I'm going to discuss how some of those beliefs not are not exactly accurate. Now, many people assume that if you're homeless, it's because A, you're lazy, B, you're on drugs, or you're an alcoholic. So, therefore, if you're homeless, it's your fault. And nobody should feel bad for you. Now, although statistically, the vast majority of your homeless population has either a drug and or an alcohol issue. And then next to that, you got people that are homeless because they got mental issues and they're unable to keep employment because they're not mentally stable upstairs. And now here are some more reasons why people are becoming homeless in more recent years. Uh, there's been a growing number of people that have been homeless, especially in recent times, due to being evicted from their apartment or being foreclosed on their home due to the loss of employment. Like during this COVID situation, a lot like during the recession, there's been a lot of people that lost their jobs and therefore they were unable to afford their apartment or their mortgage. Now, during the COVID situation, however, there has been a lot of people that have received the extra $600 attached onto unemployment to help them out. And then when that money ran out, for those that may have been paying rents, when that money ran out back in July, they were no longer able to pay their rent. So as a result, they got evicted. And there's a number of those people that are now homeless as a result. And there's also a lot of small business owners that, when COVID hit and they were forced to close down their business, due to them being a business owner, they may have not qualified for unemployment. So as a result, whatever money they may have saved up, if any, they had to utilize those funds. And some of these people may have not had a whole bunch of money saved up, so when they ran out of all that money, they were no longer able to pay their mortgage or their rent. And you got a number of small and even mid-sized business owners that are homeless as a result. And then there's people that are homeless because maybe they rented a business with some of their family members or good friends, and the business transaction may have been bad. So maybe during that situation, they may have took all their money that they had saved up, that they probably should have held on a little tighter and been a little more careful with, and they went on ahead and gave it to their loved ones, or they gave it to their close friends, thinking that things were going to go good because, hey, they trust the person. And they believed in themselves, they believed in what they were doing. But one thing may have led to another, things went south, and that individual may have lost all their money, lost their business, and therefore may have not had the funds to pay their mortgage and or rent. And as a result, many of those people are homeless as I speak. So that's another reason why people are ending up homeless. Another reason why people are ending up homeless is because of health reasons. I mean, you got people out here that are getting sick. They're getting sick, and they may have had to quit working for an extended period of time. And many of these people may have been put in a financial situation to where they were no longer able to afford their rents. They were no longer able to afford to continue to pay their mortgage, and they fell so far behind that the bank foreclosed on them. Or if they're renting, their landlord evicted them because they were not able to afford to catch up on the rent, along with paying all the attorney fees. So there's all kinds of reasons why people out here are homeless. I mean, yes, drug addiction and alcohol addiction are the leading reasons. And then the reason below that are people who may have been incarcerated, who served some hard time in prison. And speaking of that, I'll touch on it briefly. Now, there are people out here that have been locked up for several years for a crime they didn't even commit. So I guess the point of this video is before you judge somebody that you assume is homeless, try to put yourself in their shoes briefly. I mean, I know that many of you aren't going to do this, but if you go to that individual and you ask them point blank, are you homeless? And then you ask them why. Just try to investigate the person a little bit before you come to automatic conclusions that they're a good for nothing human being, and then you treat them accordingly. And then there's people like me who, I'm not homeless, and I'm houseless, technically. Now, here in Alabama, I'm houseless. But if I wanted to not be houseless, all I would have to do is jump in my van and drive back to Indiana, and I would no longer be houseless. So there's people like me that are living this hashtag van life because we choose to. So there are certain people out here that they do got a little bit of money, and they do got their head on their shoulders, and they're good people. They're just living this way because maybe they want to save money for whatever reason. Like me, I'm trying to save money so I can buy a house here in Montgomery and pay cash. So there's all kind of reasons why people are homeless, or in the van community we might call it houseless. So the next time you run into someone who's living out of their vehicle, or living out of a tent, or living under a bridge, or whatever the case might be, try not to be so judgmental of that person. Put yourself in their shoes for a moment and understand that what they're going through can happen to you. So just bear all that in mind. Until then, try not to be so judgmental on the homeless. Take it easy on the homeless population. And on that note, I will see you all on the next video.